Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. It's all about prepping you for what's coming in the digital marketing world. Gearing up for 2025, and we've got some seriously cool insights to share with you.
Absolutely. And we're diving deep into an article with opinions from 22 different marketing leaders, some real heavy hitters in the field. So we'll be breaking it all down for you today, getting to the heart of what they see coming down the pipeline in the next couple of years.
So think of this like your insider's guide to the future of digital marketing. What skills will you need to thrive? What friends should you be watching? We'll be answering all of that and more.
And one thing that just jumps out right away from this article is the sheer volume of experts who are saying AI is going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, no kidding. It feels like AI is popping up everywhere these days. But this isn't just hype, right?
No, I don't think so. The experts we're looking at here are really emphasizing that AI is becoming a core part of the marketer's toolkit. It's not just a nice to have anymore, it's a must have.
One expert even said that AI-powered marketing is already being used to do things like analyze trends and personalize content. I mean, imagine knowing what a customer wants before they even do.
It's wild, right? And what's really interesting is that AI is starting to take over tasks that used to be super time consuming. Think about things like A/B testing or optimizing ad campaigns. AI can do that stuff in a fraction of the time.
So instead of spending hours tweaking and testing, you can free up your time to focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Just having AI tools isn't going to magically make you a marketing superstar. You've got to know how to use them effectively.
Several of the experts actually mentioned something called prompt engineering. What is that exactly?
So basically, it's the art of asking AI the right questions to get the results you want. You can't just walk up to a search engine and say, give me some marketing ideas. You have to be way more specific.
Oh, I get it. It's like knowing the secret code to unlock AI's full potential.
Exactly. You've got to learn how to speak AI's language.
Right.
But, with all this talk about AI, it makes you wonder, are human skills becoming obsolete?
Right. Are we all going to be replaced by robots?
Well, actually, a lot of the experts said the opposite. They believe that certain human skills will become even more important in the age of AI.
Okay, now that's interesting. Tell me more.
For starters, communication skills came up again and again. One expert even said that even the most technically brilliant marketers need to be able to communicate their ideas clearly and persuasively.
Makes sense, right? You could have the most amazing AI-powered marketing plan in the world, but if you can't explain it to your team or your clients, what good is it?
Exactly. And, in a world where AI can generate mountains of content, it's the human touch that's really going to make your work stand out.
So it's not just about what you say, but how you say it.
Right. And another crucial skill that was mentioned a lot is SEO and content strategy. Even with AI generating content, it's still humans who need to understand search intent and how to create content that actually resonates with people.
I'll admit, sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in data. Trying to make sense of all the numbers and analytics can be really overwhelming.
Yeah, I hear you. And several experts emphasize the need to go beyond basic analytics and really dig deep into the data to find those actionable insights.
But it's not just about understanding the numbers themselves, right? It's also about being able to tell a story with the data.
That's exactly it. One expert called it data storytelling, being able to turn those numbers into a compelling narrative that actually drives decisions.
And that's a skill that's useful in any field, not just marketing.
Totally. Being able to communicate the why behind the data is so important.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. It seems like the most successful marketers in 2025 will be the ones who can bridge the gap between the technical and the human.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about finding that sweet spot where AI and human ingenuity can work together.
Like a dynamic duo.
Exactly. AI can handle the heavy lifting, freeing us up to focus on strategy, creativity, and building relationships.
And that brings us to another important skill for the future: customer journey mapping and UX design.
Oh, absolutely. You need to create seamless and engaging experiences for customers across all touch points.
Especially since everyone's attention span is shrinking by the minute.
Right. You've got to anticipate their needs, guide them through the buying process, and make sure every interaction with your brand is positive and memorable.
I remember a few years ago I was working on a campaign, and suddenly the whole social media landscape shifted. We had to completely rethink our strategy overnight.
And that's a perfect example of another skill that's going to be critical in 2025, adaptability and optimization. Being able to adjust to new trends and challenges on the fly.
It's not just about having a plan. It's about being able to pivot when things change.
And that's definitely a human strength. AI can help us analyze data and spot trends, but it's humans who can make those split-second decisions and course corrections.
So it sounds like 2025 is going to be a wild ride for digital marketers, but it's also going to be full of amazing opportunities.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic and exciting field, and it's only going to get more interesting.
We've talked a lot about AI and human skills, but there's another big trend we need to discuss: ethics and transparency.
Oh, right. With all this talk about data and AI, it's easy to forget about using those tools responsibly.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, a lot of the experts we looked at highlighted the growing importance of ethical marketing and data privacy. One expert even said that ethics in marketing will be another skill in demand as consumers increasingly seek out credibility and authenticity.
That makes sense. Consumers are becoming more and more aware of how their data is being used, and they want to support brands they trust.
Exactly.
Mm.
And building that trust is more important than ever. It's about being transparent about your practices, respecting privacy, and creating campaigns that feel genuine and authentic.
When I think about the brands I trust the most, they're the ones that don't try to trick me or manipulate me. They're honest and straightforward. That's a perfect example of how ethical marketing isn't just the right thing to do, it's also good for business. When you build trust with your customers, you create loyal relationships that last.
It's a win-win for everyone. So to wrap things up, it seems like the digital marketing landscape in 2025 is going to be shaped by this fascinating interplay between AI and human skills.
Absolutely. AI is going to continue to transform the industry, but it's the human skills like communication, creativity, and ethical decision making that will really set marketers apart.
Right. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about finding that balance and harnessing the power of both.
Welcome back to our deep dive. It's all about those digital marketing trends for 2025.
Yeah, in part one, we talked about the big picture, AI, human skills, all that good stuff.
Right, setting the stage. But now let's get down to brass tacks. What can marketers actually do to prepare for all this change?
Okay, so let's get tactical. Where do we even begin?
Well, one thing we can definitely start doing is embracing those AI tools we were talking about earlier.
AI again, of course. But there are so many tools out there. Where do you even start?
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. One expert recommended starting with tools that automate those repetitive tasks, things like social media scheduling, email marketing, maybe even some basic content generation.
That makes a lot of sense, freeing up your time so you can focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly. And another expert suggested experimenting with AI-powered personalization tools. Yeah. There are platforms that can analyze customer data and create super targeted content recommendations.
Wow, so instead of sending out those generic mass emails, you can really tailor your message to each individual person.
Precisely. And that kind of personalization can make a huge difference in how people respond to your marketing. But speaking of content, with AI generating so much of it these days, how can human marketers stand out?
Yeah, that's a great question. Can we even compete with the robots?
The key is to focus on what AI can't do.
Hmm.
Things like infusing your content with emotion, creativity, storytelling. Those are the things that really connect with people.
So it's about bringing that human touch to everything you create.
Exactly. And don't forget about those data storytelling skills we talked about earlier. You can use data to back up your stories, make them even more compelling.
Data-driven storytelling. I like that. But honestly, I still struggle with data analysis. Sometimes I could see the numbers, but turning them into an actual strategy is tough.
You're not alone. There are tons of tools out there that can help. Things like Tableau or Power BI. They can help you visualize the data, see the patterns and trends more easily.
Oh, that makes sense. Sometimes seeing the data visually can really make it click.
Exactly. And if data isn't your strong suit, don't be afraid to collaborate with a data scientist or analyst. They can help you translate those numbers into actionable insights.
Like having a data whisperer.
Exactly. And remember, data isn't just about looking back, it's about looking forward. There are AI-powered predictive analytics tools that can help you forecast sales and identify new opportunities.
So you can actually use data to predict the future.
In a way, yeah. It's pretty amazing. But speaking of the future, we also need to talk about staying agile and adaptable.
Oh, yeah. The digital landscape is constantly changing.
Exactly. One expert recommended adopting a test and learn approach. Basically, you're constantly experimenting, trying new things, measuring the results, and adjusting your strategy based on what you learn.
So it's all about continuous improvement.
Exactly. And that's essential in a world where everything is changing so rapidly.
Right. You've got to be able to pivot when the situation calls for it.
And speaking of pivoting, let's talk about omnichannel marketing.
Oh, yeah. Omnichannel is huge. It's about creating a seamless brand experience across all channels and touch points.
So it's not just about being everywhere, it's about being everywhere in a way that makes sense.
Right. You need to understand your customer journey and make sure you're meeting them wherever they are, providing a consistent experience.
Like you're guiding them through a choose-your-own-adventure story, but every path leads to a happy ending. Exactly. And omnichannel isn't just about being present on multiple channels. It's about using those channels strategically to nurture relationships and guide customers towards conversion.
So it's like a carefully choreographed dance.
Mhm.
Each channel has its own role to play.
Precisely. And it takes a lot of skill and understanding to pull it off, but the payoff can be huge.
Okay, so we've got AI, human-centric content, data analysis, agility, omnichannel. Anything else?
Well, there's one more thing. We can't forget about ethics and transparency.
Oh, right. We touched on that in part 1.
Ah.
But it definitely deserves more attention.
Absolutely. As digital marketing becomes more data-driven and AI-powered, it's crucial that we use these tools responsibly and ethically.
What does that look like in practice?
One expert talked about the concept of ethics by design. Basically, you're building ethical considerations into every aspect of your marketing strategy, from data collection to messaging to campaign execution.
So it's about being intentional and thoughtful about how you're using these powerful tools.
Exactly. And it's not just about following the rules. It's about doing what's right for your customers and for your brand.
It's like the golden rule of marketing. Treat your customers the way you would want to be treated.
Exactly. And ethical marketing isn't just good for your soul. It's good for business, too. When you build trust with your customers, you create loyal relationships that last.
Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive. It's been quite a journey exploring all these digital marketing trends for 2025.
It really has. And we've covered so much ground already, from AI and data to those human skills that are going to be even more important in the future.
Exactly. And now it's time to look ahead to what might be coming next, the challenges and opportunities that await us in the digital marketing world.
You know, it's funny. With all this talk about the future, it's exciting, but also a little bit intimidating.
I know what you mean. What kind of challenges do you think we might face?
Well, I think just keeping up with the speed of change is going to be huge. New platforms, new technologies, new algorithms. It's a lot to keep track of.
Especially for smaller businesses or people who are just starting out, it can feel really overwhelming.
One of the experts we read actually suggested that having a growth mindset is going to be crucial. You know, being curious, being willing to learn new things, experiment a bit.
So being comfortable with not knowing everything and always being open to learning something new.
Exactly. And another expert really emphasized continuous learning. Taking courses, going to conferences, reading industry blogs, all that stuff.
Basically being a lifelong student of digital marketing.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's only going to become more important as the landscape keeps changing.
Speaking of change, do you think competition is going to keep getting tougher?
Oh, definitely. There's already so much noise online, so much content vying for attention. It's only going to get more challenging to stand out.
So how do you cut through all the clutter?
One expert said it really well. Focus on creating content that actually provides value to your audience. You know, stuff that answers their questions, solves their problems, gives them something they can use.
Content that's actually helpful, not just salesy.
Right. And personalized content is going to be even more important, too. With AI, you can really tailor your message to each individual person.
So it's about making people feel seen and heard,
Yeah.
not just like another number in your database.
Exactly. But, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. There are also some incredible opportunities on the horizon.
Okay, let's talk about those. What are you most excited about?
Well, AI and VR are obviously game changers. AI can help us automate things, personalize experiences, create completely new types of content, and VR can really immerse people in a brand experience in a way we've never seen before.
It's like marketing meets science fiction.
I know, right? And there's also this growing focus on ethical and sustainable marketing, which is really encouraging.
Yeah, it seems like more and more consumers are looking to support brands that share their values.
And that creates a huge opportunity for brands to really differentiate themselves by focusing on ethical sourcing, sustainability, transparency, all of that.
So doing good is good for business too.
Exactly. And, you know, at the end of the day, the most exciting opportunity for me is the ability to create really meaningful connections with people.
Yeah, in a world that's becoming increasingly digital, it's easy to lose sight of that human element.
But by using storytelling, personalization, empathy, we can build relationships that go beyond just buying and selling.
It's about creating a community around your brand.
Exactly. And those relationships are what ultimately drive long-term success.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a much better understanding of what's coming in the world of digital marketing.
Me too. It's definitely an exciting time to be in this field.
So as we wrap things up, What's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think the most important thing is to embrace the journey. Be curious, be adaptable, be open to new possibilities. The future of digital marketing is full of potential, and for those who are willing to embrace the unknown, the rewards are limitless.
It's an adventure, and we're all in this together.
Exactly. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the digital world.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure. And to all our listeners out there, keep innovating, keep connecting, and keep making a difference in the digital world.
Until next time.